Ouais, ok, stand by. À toi, Gracie. Ente, ento, elma, I, ras, ba.
They wanted to see many guns. They want to see all the guns and choose inside. So the director wanted to see what's going to fit in his location with his actors and all that. We had to get very graphic guns for the hitman. This is why we choose some of that gun, you know, that are very good looking and technical.
Say that again. You want me to shoot again this way?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so two together.
Then.
Oh.
If it's possible. C'est possible ça avec le fusil? Oui, ouais. And boom.
Oh, okay, so.
A lot of bullets.
The munition when you
The first training as a technician to be on set with the dangerous props is the knowledge to know how to carry the weapon, what not to do, don't put finger on the trigger when you're outside set, the way you have to behave yourself with the weapon outside the rolling and the cutting of the camera, I mean outside filming. So all this needs to be explained and the actor needs to be familiar with that.
There's no logic to crossing your... It's just no... I mean, there's just nothing about that makes a lot of sense. But we worked it into the movie anyway. Why? Because it's in the game and it looks cool.
We had someone there every day with the guns, and we trained as well in sort of ways in which to ambush people and ways in which to hold the gun and what you look out for and how much of yourself to show when you're in an environment, a dangerous environment, as it were.
When you have two guns like this and you're holding them, you want to hold this one a little higher than that one. Because the cartridges discharge to the right. And if you have the gun this way, it goes bink, bink. And then you look like an asshole.
You have 15 bullets each.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Donc the time is about brrr,
Yes.
huh? Brrr,
Yes.
brrr. It's about 3 seconds. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool working with guns. I don't own a gun myself personally, but it is kind of cool to get to play with these guns. And I've done lots of gun training before, and it is kind of cool. Use all these. I mean, Agent 47 uses like a gazillion guns. I've only got one, but even that was fun to pull out, run along with, fire it off. It's great fun. I mean, I always do training, but if you've ever got to fire guns off, even if you've done it many times before, you've got to refresh yourself because you've got to be safe, because these guns can be dangerous as well because they're firing blanks, but the blanks have got a charge, so you've got to be very careful about where you fire it off and where the cartridges go when they come out of the gun itself.
You have to know it when you go to shoot someone in the arm. Those are the little things you want to keep in mind. And you're going to go shoot him like this, and you realize that's going to go right in his freaking mouth. And so you got to tilt the gun that way. Little tips.
On the movie, we had the hitman, Agent 47, who was using this pistol, and we made a copy of the pistol here that is used to shoot close. So I can shoot in my hand. Look, the flash will go straight to my hand without burning. You see?
Take one, A, B, and C card. Ok, ça tourne tout le monde? Ouais, go. Ok, attention. And 3, 2, 1, action!
When we shoot a scene where there is a lot of gun firing and a lot of gun, there is a sort of ritual with the armorer who came to protect everybody with some shield and with helmet, with helmet for shield for the face, and it's like we entering in the very important moment of the day, and we have to take all the security. Also, if the gun is empty, we take all the time a lot of security to be sure there is no accident on the set.
And action!
People involved in the sequence where we have guns and fights are directors, AD, stuntman, SFX people, and armorers. So when we're talking about get involved in the fight sequence, we are all together. And the director say, okay, next shot, I would like to have this man jumping out. And so everybody is involved in that, know where he can put his stuff. And if something is wrong for the safety of one of the people, we say, oh, I'm sorry, if you jump there with the gun like that, and the man just passing there, we get the case is there. So we can cheat by putting the gun on the side, changing the hand of the gun, or using another gun at this time of the stuff. And the director choose and say, okay, don't worry, let's use something else. Avoid that gun, put a revolver not to have cases, and we make it work. And then, action.
Super.
Ok, la suite c'est Yann dans le bassin.
When you make a movie from a video game, you have to tell a story in first, and after tell that story in the universe of the original material.
It's not specifically a film of professional assassin. It's more close to the spy film.
The end of the day is you're just left with the story. It's all I'm interested in trying to tell.
There is no such a thing as a video game movie. There's either good movies or bad movies. And you know, Hitman is a good movie just because it started with a good script and it started with a great character and a great idea. You walk a very fine line where you're trying to adapt something that is extremely popular in another medium, be it a comic book or a novel, a graphic novel or a video game, because the core fan base has a certain amount of expectation, and that's truly valid, and you want to go ahead and fulfill those expectations. At the same time, you have to, in any movie, you have to have a story that makes sense. You have to have a character that makes sense, and I would believe that if you take all the ingredients from the game and put them into a script, a good script for a movie, you're going to please the fans and the non-fans.
What has attracted me in the Skipwood script is the universe developed inside the script and the modus operandi of the character. He showed the character in his natural universe all the time, and after he show him in different situations, in different missions, and in the movie Skipwoods take that element of the video game and put that in the script, and after from that element we have a new story of Hitman, who is at the beginning an hunter, became an hunted, and the action can begin.
Well, when Fox called us and said, what do you guys think about Xavier Gans? And we sort of became very familiar with his work very fast, and two things were apparent. He was an incredible shooter. He could shoot this kind of movie as good as anybody out there. And number two, very smart with story and extremely passionate about the Hitman franchise and the Agent 47 character. He was a fan of the game, but at the same time, he was a filmmaker. He wasn't just interested in making a movie for the fans. He wanted to make a movie for everybody who loves this genre.
I was involved in Hitman after Luc Besson saw my first feature film was The Mid-Frontiers. He showed the movie to Fox, and after Fox trusted me to give me the direction of Hitman. And when they said, okay, let's go to do the movie, we have just 3 months to prepare the movie. And that was a great challenge.
It's a very meticulous, beautifully shot movie that pays homage to the game and respects the game, and there's a tremendous amount of love for the game conveyed in it, but at the same time it's just this incredibly operatic action movie, and that's what Xavier brought to the table.
Xavier was fantastic to work with, and he's wonderful. He's a great visual director, and his points of reference for this movie, you know, covered many different genres of films.
Xavier, master genres. Always a master. Always. Never a pickup shot. The action stuff, he has to start doing pickups, but man, all the time.
For my directing style, what I have want to do is to be all the time in movement, like in the video game. It's like you follow the action and you're like on board with 47 in the action, and is why I have used a lot of Steadicam movement. And for the opening of different scenes, I have used a lot of crane movement to be in a very elegant universe and to be really close to the animatic of the video game.
Stay here.
We wanted someone that you could look in his eyes and feel that he's incapable. He's capable of doing anything, and Tim has that, and he's also a terrific actor, and he's extremely got this sort of quiet in him that, you know, he's sort of unpredictable. Call it an unpredictable sense of calm. Everybody feels strongly that we cast the right guy, and you know, he's terrific in the movie. I mean, he delivers the character, and you know, he's now Agent 47 for millions of people.
Whatever my pre-existing ideas of what a video game movie should feel like, it didn't feel like one, and I felt it was very reminiscent of some of the old John Woo films or Luc Besson films, which I was a huge fan of, and I thought it was just pretty clearly a tremendous opportunity.
I think Timothy Olyphant is a real good choice for the character of 47 because physically in first he can add the two faces of the good and the evil one. And after that, he's a great actor to give you something really cold, very dark, and to have a sort of emotion coming inside him, and you can feel him pass to a dark emotion to a sad emotion in very quick time. And it's why it's really amazing to have an actor like him in the character of 47.
I'm June, and you are? This is where you tell me your name.
Excuse me.
I think 47 is really different than the other killer in the other movie because it's a killer really elegant, really classy, and very efficient on his execution.
What I thought that was interesting to explore was sort of this, the quietness and the loneliness. It almost felt like a traveling salesman kind of thing, quality to it. And it was kind of fun to explore that side.
At the beginning, 47 is just a killer, a cold, bold killer, and he killed people with very violent manner. And he met a girl, and when he met that girl, Olga Kurilenko, he became more human, and he understand a little bit more why he do that, and he became to be afraid about what he done.
I think he gets touched by her because he sees a little reflection of himself in her. And that happens when he notices her tattoo. He has a tattoo too on the back of his head, and she has a tattoo on her cheek. So I guess that's what make him feel closer to her. He can identify himself to her somehow, and that's where it starts from.
That was the part of the story that I thought was the most attractive. That you had these two people that were clearly very damaged, and I thought there was something. Without betraying type of character 47 is, and to that degree the game and the source material, to be able to find just a smidgen of a love story in there, I thought was really nice.
I think what is really interesting in the relationship between Tim and Olga is the sort of match, the tennis match between them, because they all the time have a sort of exchange. Very strong in the scene, and they give the best of them for all the line they got to help them to be the best they can.
I swear I'll never...
Stop talking.
If you're looking for a reason not to kill me, I don't really have one. I'm not a whore by choice.
She's kind of a lonely soul, that's for sure, because she's trapped by this man, her boyfriend, Belikov, and who she doesn't love, and she's there against her will.
She did a fantastic job. I mean, really just did a fantastic job. And I feel very fortunate to have been able to work with her and feel fortunate that she was, you know, in the movie at all. But, you know, she had a tough job. That part is a difficult part and asks a lot of an actress. I really can't say enough good things about her.
Most of the time I worked with Timothy, you know, and most of my scenes are with Timothy. He was the person who made me comfortable on the set and being there with Xavier. But, you know, he was, because he was my partner, he did a great job.
Please. Stop.
She saved your life.
Well, I thought it was a good action film. You know, I do, the movies that I tend to do sort of change from project to project. I like to do different kind of genres of films, and I liked the story, and I liked the you know, the relationship between Hitman and my character, Mike Whittier, you know, the Interpol detective who's been tracking him for years. So it was kind of like a cat and mouse game, which is very much the way the studio saw it.
Dugray's a fantastic actor. I've been a fan of Dugray for a long, long time, and we're really lucky to have him. I thought he was great. I thought he's just perfectly cast.
Me and Tim got on very, very well. We became friends pretty quickly, and we both had a similar view about the relationship between Agent 47 and Mike, my character. And, you know, through the course of rehearsals, we both wanted to go in the same direction vis-a-vis the relationship that the two of them had. And we had a great time working together. And he's fantastic, Tim, and I like him enormously.
In our story, you know, we sort of explored this idea that, you know, these guys were sort of the two sides of the same coin. You know, 47 looks at him and sees his ability to kind of function in society, and yet, you know, he's got blood on his hands, and so that becomes a bit of a fascination for my character.
I think first of all, he's obsessed with him because that's his job. He's been tracking this guy, this agent, this assassin for many years, and he knows every hit he's ever done, of which there are many. And I think he's become obsessed with tracking this assassin down. My character's 2 steps ahead of most people in the movie, but 1 step behind Agent 47, so he just nearly gets them. And they come face to face a couple of times in the movie, the beginning and the end and in the middle. And I think the relationship is quite intriguing as to, you know, what it is they think about each other when they finally meet. And I think there's a lot of respect, you know, Agent 47 for my character and my character for Agent 47.
What is good with Dougray Scott, he got that really interesting dark side inside him. And for the character of Mike Whittier, that is really interesting to have a character really elegant like Dougray, but with that really dark attitude, dark side he can give to the character, and you cannot know if it's a bad guy or a good guy. But you know he got a good intention, but you know also he can be really dangerous.
The light bulb comes on. Took me a minute. Must be the jet lag. You're telling me to fuck off?
No, of course not. You're a good man, Michael.
One of Interpol's best.
But leave this intelligence work to the FSB.
Robert Knepper, it's amazing Yuri on the movie, because when we have begun to work on the movie together, he have learned some Russian line, and he bring a lot of ID on the character. He asked to add an earpiece, like he spoke all the time with the KGB, and he searched all the time a lot. He's an actor really in the details of the different elements, and he want to build his character with a lot of outside details to give to him some credibility, and you have to feel the characters really true, and that is really strong with Robert.
Xavier is an amazing director. He's one of my favorite directors I've ever worked with, and what I love a lot about him is his childlike quality, and children don't explain. They just do it. There's not enough time, whether you're shooting a television show or you're shooting a movie, even though this movie, for instance, and maybe it's the way the French shoot, I mean, you can tell pretty quickly the style of something when you're in the moment shooting it. You don't need somebody to say, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. You don't need that. You just sort of do it. And then to have his reaction be, so, oh, yeah, it's magnifique. It's all this great French stuff that you're surrounded by. It's terrific.
Robert was good because we have quite a lot of scenes, myself and Yuri. So Robert Nepper was great, played a great Russian, and there's a very antagonistic relationship between the two of them because Mike, who is, he's very bright and he's been involved with these many government agencies throughout the years. He knows, he can smell instinctively what's going on here and there's some sort of cover-up.
You did your job, and you did it very well. And for that, my boy, you should be proud.
The notion of making movies like Hitman, you go for the best actors for the part. You almost don't need to get huge stars. Now, Tim and Doug Gray are big stars, and Tim was on his way to becoming a giant movie star. But you really want to go get the best actors for the part.
I play a character named Belikov, Mikhail Belikov, and he is a politician. He is a bad guy.
I think what is really interesting with Ulrich Thomsen, who is playing Belikov, he got that elegance of a Danish actor. He's really in a retention of the emotion. He's really cold on his acting, and he gives you something really human, really natural, but you can feel a lot of perversion behind, and it's really great for that because just with a look he can freeze you because you could be really afraid by his prestation, his performance on the movie, and for that Ulrich is really great.
In films, it's funny to play the bad guy. It's fun to be killed in a movie. It's funny to kill people in a movie. I had the best fun making this. I mean, I've never been killed so many times in a film. My head was blown off. I was shot in the head, and then I was shot 11 times after I'm dead. On top of that, I'm lying as my own double in the morgue with a bullet, hole in my head. So it was like every day I was on the set, people were taking a shot at me.
I think to successfully translate a video game to a film, you have to respect the original material, because there is people who work on the art direction, for example, of the video game. There is a conception of a universe, and there is a logic of that universe. And if you respect the logic of the universe and the material you used for the movie, you can, after, make a movie, but you don't have to forget to tell a story.
We have totally respected the video game, but we are saying to the people, now it's time to come to the truth. The hitman is real, he lives, he's a real guy, and you're going to really meet with him.
This is also a film. It's impossible to respect strictly the game. We have to think about the dramaturgy, we have to think about rhythm. So, of course, for my job was between. Sometime we pick up some pictures of the games, and sometime I was free. In collaboration with Xavier and everybody to create a world of 47.
It was very cool to have a partnership with Laurent Barres on Hitman, because he gave me already the possibilities to shoot where I want in any moment of the days of shooting. And his way all the days he make a light from the top, and he give me the opportunity to move my camera where I want. And there is a lot of time where I want to use something like 4 or 5 cameras in the same time. And for the light, it's really complicated to have some different elements on the set, and you have to put everything from the top. And with that solution, we can move and make what we want every day without an expensive schedule.
More or less, we have all the device for moving a camera on this film. We have hand camera, we have Steadicam, we have crane, tripod, dolly, cable cam. It was incredible because every day we set the camera in so many different kind of positions that sometime Xavier was lost himself. Said, "What can I do?" So, okay, we have this. I think we're editing more or less 4,000 shots in the film. It's for 1 hour and 30 minutes. It's very. Storyboard is very important for Xavier because it helped him to have an idea what he wants to shoot, but it's not the end. When you shoot only the storyboard, at the end you're a little bit disappointed because you have the feeling that the rhythm it's too low. So when we arrive on the set, the storyboard is the references for how it works. It's a references for a lot of technicians to set up all the stuff.
He is likely responsible for over 100 deaths. Let me show you what I mean. This is Ovi. And these are just the ones we know about. Are you beginning to get the picture?
As the story takes us in the deep side of all Eastern Europe, provides to the film the dark side that we're looking for with our modern and contemporary characters inside of that. This provides to the intensity and the violence of the film.
The character of 47 is very much an international character. I mean, he really in the games he has no nationality, and most of his adventures take place overseas, particularly in Eastern Europe and in Europe itself. So it has that European international flavor to it. The script never set foot in the United States. It opens in Africa, and then it goes to Russia, and then it goes to Istanbul, and then it comes back to Russia, and is in Eastern Europe. And we shot the movie in Bulgaria, so it allowed you to sort of have those flavors. And a lot of people that worked on the movie were European, so it sort of brought that sensibility to it. But it was something that we were all conscious of, the studio and us. We wanted this movie to really have that international European flavor.
Asma, you quickly. That's going to be a bit of a scene back there.
Yeah. She
so I say dessert menu. She notices what's going on behind me.
Yes,
I see that she notices it, right? So I'm staying right here.
At that moment, you connect her attention to ask for the check, but I'm not done.
Sometimes there might be a language problem if you got people from all these different countries. Dugray's from Scotland, Timothy's American like me, Olga, Ukrainian, now living in Paris, Ulrich from Denmark. You know, it's funny, we all kind of speak the same language after a while, even if you don't speak perfect English, which Xavier does, I have to say. He's surrounded by translators. You just get a feeling with the way people move their hands, or they kind of look at you like, a little bit more. I mean, you know you're either going in the right direction or not. Everyone gets along really well. We're all here to tell a really good story, and it's been bliss.
I think that was really interesting to work on Hitman with that world crew, because everybody got different way to work on a big production like that. That was amazing to have all that energy coming in the same project, but that was a great experience because everybody's exchange the experience they got, and at the end we have a very performance crew to make the movie.
On a décroché. La vidéo tourne.
No! Here we go! Okay. All right, I'll take it.
Well, I think that hitmen are kind of sexy and they're sort of someone that people want to be and never will be. So it's a kind of a fantasy, you know, the audience are taking on a journey with the character. And hopefully, you know, they can enjoy that experience, you know, from a cinematic experience point of view.